guys, today I want to talk about, why I chose dentistry, why I'm so passionate about it, what are the things that I think kind of help make me tick, and what's helped shape my career to date. So I'm really excited to share that with you, so let's get started. My name is Peggy Bown and I am a dentist. I've been a dentist since 2001. And I grew up in a little rural community in Newfoundland. And when I was a little girl, I would have to go to see the dentist quite often. It wasn't a terrible experience, but it wasn't great. Certainly wasn't anything to compel me to become a dentist. But when I was about 13 or 14 years old, my mom took us to a new dentist. He was a dentist who had immigrated from South Africa. And he was starting up this little clinic in this little rural area called New World Island, which is near where we lived. She brought us there to, of course, first have the complete exam and then to have some fillings done. Like, I always need fillings. And it was a completely different experience. So it was so different. I remember very vividly him sitting me up, explaining things to me, taking the time to reassure me, tell me everything, like not just act like, I'm a child and well, I'll just do what I have to do and move on. It was very, very done with the concern and care to help me feel better and feel comfortable in that environment, which is very scary for most people, especially children or teens. That memory is so stuck in my mind, and I was leaving the office, I think it was that day, I looked at my mom and I said, "Mom," and she was standing right here next to me, "I'm gonna be a dentist when I grow up." And she's like, "Hey, really? You're gonna be a dentist?" All of a sudden, I wanted to be a dentist. Like, where does this coming from? But it felt so incredible to be able to reassure someone and be helpful at the same time. So I think a little bit part of who I am is to want to help people and make them see things in a different way, see things or feel things in a way that they really weren't expecting, and kind of surprise them, but in a good way, and reassure. Dentistry seemed like a very cool thing too, because it meant I could be probably a little bit artistic. I loved art, and it was going to be difficult to become just an artist. So I felt that maybe this could be the right thing for me. I continued my entire schooling with that in mind, that I would be a dentist, and never gave up on that. And then in my fourth year graduating from undergrad from Mount Allison University, I got accepted to Dalhousie, and it was like a dream come true, literally. Upon graduating, I was fortunate enough to get into a practice with a senior associate, and he really threw everything at me. Like, listen, just had the confidence in me to say, listen, you can do it. And so I did things that were a little bit out of my comfort zone. I really thought I would never do things like root canals, and aesthetic dentistry certainly isn't even discussed in dental school. It's almost not considered part of real dentistry. And as I started working there, he had a SLR camera, and it was really cool to me that you could do things, show the patients, show them the before, show them the after, and they really appreciated your work. So I started doing a little bit of orthodontics, and I wasn't photographing my root canals, of course, but I was photographing my, aesthetic cases, and I was photographing some other things that really made me excited. And I was always excited about dentistry, but this was like, wow, like proof that I had done something that made a difference. I had made the patient feel wonderful, and also I had done something to their smile or to give them confidence that they never had before. It started from there, and then as I matured in my clinical practice, I've always been a general dentist. I did some courses later in my career that really made me think more along the lines of, I guess you would call it aesthetic dentistry, but just confidence building dentistry. I think, the words, smile makeover and all these things, they are wonderful, but some people view it as, well, these people are vain or whatnot, but it's certainly not like that. I really think that what we're doing for people is helping them bring out the best in themselves that they may be not confident enough to do so because they aren't smiling with confidence. And our teeth and our smile are really the centerpiece of our face. So it has to be right. It has to be what you feel is right. By being able to do that for people, it has really transformed how I practice. I started doing a lot of Invisalign, clear aligner orthodontics, cosmetic bonding, veneers. The lab I was working with was very much into kind of helping educate, lots of courses. Highly recommend as much extra education as you think you can take the time off for. It's never a waste of money. That's never the issue. It's just, can you afford the time away from your family? So I did all that, and I started to really just veer into a whole new world of dentistry. I started to kind of feel like I wasn't seeing along the same lines as my partners in my group practice. So it just started to make me wonder, can I ever really fulfill what I really envision that I want dentistry to be? I wanted to really focus a practice on the patient experience and impact them, wow them, use technology and an amazing team to do that. But then also I wanted to do dentistry to a higher level, like a level that was, kind of world class. As much as I could possibly afford the technology and the education and the training, I was going to do it. Because I started up my own practice, I was able to, sort of brand myself and start to think about, how are people going to know that I am doing this? You've got to get it out there. So I started diving deep into social media and developing a brand that would be something people could recognize. Cosmetic dentistry can be really rewarding. It can be rewarding for the dentist performing it, but it can be rewarding and helpful to our patients. So I like to get the message to people that, this is something can easily be achieved. It's accessible here in Atlantic Canada, and we can have a clinic that helps you get there and helps you get it all, but doing so with keeping the experience of the patient in mind, making sure that the patient feels extremely comfortable and welcome. When I was building the new practice, I was practicing, of course, full time. I'm a busy mom of two young girls, and what I knew I had to keep in mind was like, I'm gonna work my butt off. Like it was night and day, it was nonstop, and I was just completely engulfed in making this. I had to meet with so many different types of people, from, banks to designers to technicians to labs. It was insane. But I would do it again because what's on the other side of that is just a freedom to do what you want and to create something that has so many good moments in it. However, I think as a young professional, you really have to decide and be okay with sacrifice, really working very, very hard. Thinking long term, I really wanted the clinic to be timeless in lots of ways. So everything from the colors to the design to how we approached our setup to be something that would take us very far. So we had to decide what day we were going to open the clinic. But yet the clinic, coming down to the last month, contractors didn't feel the urgency like I did. I knew that my team was going to be extremely upset if we actually had to reschedule those patients. So we're down to the last week, and I think I stayed up, I don't know how late at night I stayed up, and I just said, okay guys, and everybody had a name, and it's like, this is what you need to get done, and this is what you need to get done by this date, and there's going to be hell to pay. I knew I had to push people, and you know what? It happened. It all got done. But I had to become, the real director, but with respect for those people who are working so hard too. I think you've got to be willing to push people and just be very clear though, but be respectful. If you're building your own business, it doesn't have to be a dental clinic. It could be any sort of business that you're thinking. You really have to be willing to, be clear and set boundaries, tell people exactly what you expect and when you expect it. Just step up in that role, although sometimes it's very uncomfortable. I think it's also really important that we hire the right people. I actually let go a few people along the way and realized that they just didn't jive with my vision and with what I was trying to achieve. So, it's just business, right? It's not personal, it's just business. Try to keep it like that. So that was hard, letting people go along the way. But I think it was really empowering too, because I was like, no, it's my show and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. As a woman, I always sometimes envision myself, like if I was a man, I could just say that and nobody would get offended because it's, he's just taking care of business. But as women, sometimes we don't always feel, I'm not speaking for all women, but in general, women are a little bit more softer about the approach, and maybe sometimes are not assertive enough. And they're also not willing to, you know, ask for help or demand the help that is needed, because they're trying to keep everything peaceful. But you know, we can do it, and we should just try to be more assertive and not be afraid of what anybody thinks. I believe that one of the things that has made me enjoy dentistry so much is the ability or willingness to just jump in both feet and say, you know what is the worst thing can happen? And also, I probably am gonna get this right. Very seldom does it ever not work out. In fact, often I drive out of the parking lot at the end of the day. I'm like, yeah, we did it. We're really empowered and excited because we did something that we knew was stretching our comfort zone and stretching ourselves a little bit beyond. That has taken me much further, just to be fearless, basically, and not worry too much, not overthink it. If you can really go for it, and you're most of the time going to be successful, so you really have nothing to lose. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate your time. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. And you can also check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So until then, I will see you soon. Don't laugh. Okay, it's not funny. There's nothing funny about this. It's getting serious, okay?
Yep.
Okay.